Welcome back, sports fans. Wait, no, hold on. Welcome back, Gacha gamers, to another War of the Visions video. Today, we're going to be talking about the news that dropped and maybe a little bit about this schedule that's been drastically altered. And I have more videos coming this week, the Should You Pulls, the schedule, like full schedule preview, etc. But for now, let's just dip in our toes into the water. And if you're wondering why I'm just a little bit more handsome today, well, I got a brand new camera, so things will look a little bit different while I figure out all the settings that are now available to me. All right, so let's get to it. Let's take a look at the news here, and it's pretty interesting because Howlet the Heavens Blade, the first time I read that this morning, I thought it said Howlet the Headache. Because he will be for some of you. That's not even supposed to be a pun. I legit thought that's what it said. But he is going to be a very interesting unit because he is anti-slash, he is anti-strike to a certain degree, and he's anti-magic. And he can raise his resistances of those different attack types by quite a bit, but also he can decrease the penetration for those resistance types by 40%. So not strike, but magic and slash he can reduce by 40%. So if you have somebody that doesn't have a lot of slash pen, he can kind of negate it, and then all of a sudden his own resistances that he's built become all the more important. And that is something that's really interesting in the current meta because there are a few units that have very high penetrations. Bradley is one of the ones that we see the most of right now. But what we also see with Howlet is shields, HP absorptions, 80% counters, and lots of damage. So he's a really cool unit. We also have Dea, who's finally in the game, just a favorite waifu of many, and I can see why. She's clearly super talented, and I think that she's a really cool unit too because she's a sword sorcerer, which is actually what Miranda is that we just had. They were supposed to be farther apart, but they are coming out week after week, so you can go try out the sword sorcerer right away, which is pretty interesting if you did not pull for Miranda. So that's all happening this week, and we're also getting the vision card this week as well. So with Howlet, we can see here he's got a barrier break on both his limit burst and on the siphonic breaker. It also has large amounts of damage and HP absorb, but he also has a buff that gives himself a barrier and HP absorption for himself and allies. So there's tons of shenanigans there. His transcendence has healing power up, so he has access to even more healing. Dea, now she has interesting sub job in that she has the operative sub, which is physical, but then she has two magic subs otherwise. But the main thing here is that she'll just have a lot of the similar skills that we just previewed for Miranda. So if you're a big fan of those, then those will be appealing to you. So we also have the vision card coming out the same week, so not a week later. It's a pretty cool one for the sword red mage job, which is a pretty good category, and unfortunately it's another glove card, which is just absolutely wrecking me at this point. The fact that it has the man-eater on magic attack, spirit up, and strike resistance up is pretty key too. I don't know, at this point I don't have any more viz, so I can't even pull for this, but I think other people will definitely be interested, especially if they are pulling for Howlet or in either the glove or the red mage. And also this is a katana card, which we don't have a lot of, and there are people that play Sephiroth that would be kind of interested in this. Even though it doesn't help him too much, it's really a defensive card for him, but still, when you don't have a lot of cards in your type, you'll take whatever you can get. There's of course a global upgrade here, which is going to be agility up. Otherwise, we can take a look at some of the other stuff going on here. There's some campaigns. We can see that there are some featured tickets in here for Howlet, so that's good to see. Otherwise, we're getting all the shards that we would normally get for him. And then there's some other stuff with the campaign, some times 7 things. None of this is too relevant for me. What is kind of interesting is that the expedition here is going to have limited shards for the Glex units, so you can collect those because obviously we're going to be getting some Glex stuff happening soon, and we'll talk exactly what that might look like in terms of timing in just a minute here. Otherwise, you'll have the opportunity to be able to get Dea and then get all of her shards and all of her mind spheres from her quest, and we'll also have some new story coming up here as well. So all of that looks great. We then have the Addison Ray Behemoth raid, and this is supposed to be a raid that was described as very, very easy. So that is going to be really interesting to see how that will kind of work out, and how good this cell phone accessory, the smartphone Addison model, is going to be. But I guess we'll find out week to light, obviously, week to magic, obviously, and then Macherie is the raid boss. So we'll get more story as well for this. So very excited to see how this all turns out, just because it's a new item that we don't know anything about, and obviously it might even have some really good upgrades for Addison, not that she really needs them. We can also look at Transcendence, Character Quest, and +6 equipment. Oh, wow. Okay, so we got Howlet, obviously, Lamega, Moraga, and then the regular Howlet, Rain, and Lastwell. All of those units, aside from the new Howlet, those are, you know, something that people might be looking forward to. For example, for me, I will definitely be transcending my Rain. I will be leaving my Moraga and Lastwell. Actually, Moraga I might work on. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. But then for the MRs, really, Chell is a big one there. Although we have to look specifically at what she has, and then otherwise Titus, yeah, whatever. Character Quest 2 here, always good to see these. Little Leela the Bold, definitely needed that. That's really good to see because she's good, but needed just whatever she can get. And then Resnick's getting one, so I'm definitely excited for Resnick. And then we have some +6 items, the Evil Bane Pendant, the White Cape, and the Rune Staff. So for those, the White Cape is going to get some magic resistance up, which is pretty solid. It's an accessory that you can craft that gives agility, so it just becomes a better accessory that's definitely going to be worth +6ing for some people. The Rune Staff just gets magic attack up, which is not a huge deal for casters and supporters, so I really don't think that's too big of a deal. But the Evil Bane Pendant is very niche, but very good, because it goes from 30 Demon Killer to 50 Demon Killer, so you get straight up a 20% increase in killer for PvE content. So definitely take a look at that. If you're ever wanting to push your damage, you're going to be able to do that with this new item. So to wrap up this video, we're going to be taking a look at the projected schedule that's coming up here, and we have this week right in front of us, June 28th, and I've beautifully illustrated this in Microsoft Word, which isn't even a proper sentence, but we'll take a look what's coming up, and we'll see what's projected based on the JP schedule. Because by the way, Howlet, if you didn't know, is way early. Everything's out of whack lately. So July, what happens first in July? Well, at the beginning of the month is when we usually get the Warriors of the Crystal, or in this case, the Evil Warriors, or the Void Warriors. And so Dialdo should be the next banner. That's pretty safe to guess. So we should be seeing him. And then after that, we should get the Dark Golem, which is underwhelming for some, but there's some cool things about it. I probably won't recommend that you pull for it, but it's just something you can consider. And then we have July 19th and July 26th. And honestly, who the knows what's coming out in those 2 weeks? It could be anything. Maybe it's going to be the finally we'll get the summer Balo, but really it's most likely going to be a global exclusive, either a new one, reruns, and then some summer units. Maybe it's going to be like last year where we got Summer Jaden, or maybe it's just going to be some reruns from last year and some upgrades for those summer units. We don't know, but after that we'll be in a brand new month, and that means that we'll be expecting to get another Warrior of Crystal, and this time it will be Raph, and that will kind of lead us in to the end of summer. So that's what we're expecting. If anyone thinks any different, you can let us know down in the comments, but otherwise this is kind of, and I'll zoom out so you can see it all at once here. We'll just use this bar here. This is kind of what we're looking at here. So from June until August, this is our expected banners, and we have a gap in there that could be literally anything. Final Fantasy 16, probably not, but definitely most likely some summer units. Okay, and that's it for the news preview. So hopefully that was useful. If you liked it, let me know. Otherwise, tomorrow will probably be the should you pull Howlet video, and at some point in the next week I'll get out my unit planning guide video, which takes a look at usually a month to 2 months, maybe a month and a half of unit releases that we can be expecting, although of course that is very off at this point, so we'll just have to find out and kind of judge of where that's all going to land. Otherwise, I'll see you all soon in another video.